Is Jesse Marsch the right man for the Canadian men's national team? Well, that's what we're going to discuss in today's video. Guys, Matty G back here with you on Football with Flags. Thanks so much for joining us as always. In terms of Jesse's playing career, he did start out in the mid-90s playing at Princeton in college, and then went on to play professionally between the years of 1996 to 2009 with DC United, Chicago Fire, and Chivas USA. He had over 300 appearances and 31 goals in his career. In terms of Marsch's coaching career, this isn't his first stint in Canada. He had a short period of time while he was the manager with Montreal Impact in 2011 to 2012. Some more notable places he's been along the way are RB Salzburg, where he won the double one year, which is certainly impressive, but keep in mind Salzburg have been a dominant figure in Austrian football for quite some time now. He had a couple different stints with RB Leipzig as an assistant and the head manager, and keep in mind his last run was with Leeds United before taking this position. He did help Leeds stay out of relegation 2 years ago, but unfortunately put them in a tough spot when he was let go in February of 2023 before the team eventually would go on to get relegated from the Premier League. In terms of this opportunity, though, with Canada, they are calling it the MLS Canada Men's National Team Coach. And the biggest reason why is MLS teams from Canada above the northern border are helping pay Marsch's salary, along with some private donors as well, I believe, which is certainly fine. I understand that the Canadian, Federation's having a lot of financial trouble over the years, but still, it just sounds ridiculous, the fact that we're putting MLS in front of a national team coach's title. But that's their decision. That's what they want to roll with. As far as Canada and the United States, obviously things just got much spicier considering the back and forth that we've seen with Jesse Marsch and Greg Berhalter, with certain interviews and comments made toward each other, as well as the fact that Marsch also interviewed for the U.S. job while Berhalter was set to the side while an investigation was going on with him, Gio Reyna, and his parents. And Marsch felt that he wasn't really treated very fairly in that entire process. So here we are. Now we've got Marsch, the head coach of Canada, while Berhalter obviously back in charge with the United States. And whenever these two get the opportunity to play once again, it's certainly going to be fascinating from a managerial standpoint. A couple of other things to point out, certainly, and the question really now is there enough time for him to be able to implement his culture, his tactics, his vision for what he wants for this national team before Copa America here coming up? They have two very difficult friendlies against Netherlands and France coming up. We'll see if they're able to at least get a result, or at least play well and look like they kind of are able to play out with what Marsch is wanting them to do before they head into this major competition. But let's not forget the impressive run that John Herdman had. Obviously, he was a part of the women's national team for a long time, had some very impressive results there. He helped keep this men's national team at the top of World Cup qualifying for the 2022 cycle, having some very impressive results against Mexico and the United States. And again, helped them qualify for just their second ever World Cup, their first being in 1986. Obviously, it wasn't what Canada wanted during the group stage, but they still had some very impressive moments, to say the least. And I was definitely, in my opinion, disappointed to see Herdman go. I mean, obviously, he has his own reasons, but with what he was able to do, the amount of talent that he has on this roster, and where he was able to put this team, it's certainly very impressive, and hopefully Marsch is able to carry on that success moving forward. And again, keep in mind, with all the drama between the U.S. and Marsch and Berhalter and everything, Jesse's going to be chomping at the bit to have that first opportunity to not only play but beat the United States. Now, back to that question of is there enough time, or how much can we take from Herdman's era to Jesse Marsch? Well, Herdman usually played a 3-4-3. Sometimes it would transition, though, into a 4-4-2 or 4-2-3-1, along with some other variations. But he liked his players to be flexible, like Tejan Buchanan, Richie Larea, Alphonso Davies, Jonathan David, and others. Plenty more names I could roll off. But the one, I think, potential easy transition for this team is that Marsch usually likes to play a 4-2-3-1. Sometimes it also transitions to a 4-4-2 or a 4-2-4, depending on if the team really needs a goal and needs to throw numbers forward quickly. But with Jesse Marsch, there's going to be a lot of zonal defending in terms of their pressure when they're out of possession in the opponent's half. And with that, though, it's gonna be relentless. They're going to constantly looking to put teams in positions and be more direct with how they are looking to pressure zonally to put teams in an area where it's difficult for them to keep possession, look to create turnovers, and then be very direct with the pace and speed that they have to exploit the space in behind from that point on. Now, one thing, again, while Canada did have a very impressive record with not conceding very many goals during World Cup qualifying, I still feel like Canada's maybe weakest position is their back line. One thing that I will really be intrigued with is when Canada is moving the ball forward with this new era with Jesse Marsch, is that space in between their midfield and back line, how much that could be exploited, whether it's through possession or Canada looking to counter and they don't create as much out of those opportunities and maybe turn the ball over in difficult areas. Are they going to be able to transition back and help recover and not exploit their back line potentially to some really dangerous positions? But with that being said too, I would really like to see Canada also maybe entice some pressure forward, maybe have teams play a higher line against them, because with the amount of space and pace and speed that this team has, if they can keep possession in their own half at times and not only break passing lines with their possession, but also get the ball wide first and then forward, I think that could really be a very, very beneficial part of their game with Jesse Marsch going forward. But again, look for a lot of zonal pressure with Jesse Marsch, looking to try and put teams in difficult positions, but constantly everybody involved is going to be getting forward, looking to try and help create that pressure and create as many turnovers, so that way they can just get the ball in good areas of the field and look to counter without having to constantly build up all the time. So if I'm Jesse Marsch, this is how I'm lining this team up right away. Borjan in the net, Miller and Vittoria there in the back, but I really like Richie Laryea on the left, Johnston on the right. Johnston had some really impressive performances in the Gold Cup last summer. Laryea is such a menace, very difficult to get by defensively, but can help create a lot in terms of the attacking positions as well that he can have. I really like Junior Hoylett there in the middle with his experience, along with Stefan, who's very composed, has great feet, great ability to keep possession and put this team in good positions going forward. Jonathan David in the middle, and the biggest reason why I have Davies on the left and Buchanan on the right is, one, I want to see Buchanan be able to take this ball to the end line as much as possible with the pace that he has. If he's got a lot of space, be able to drive, and do that in a sense that he's able either to create opportunities to get to the end line and cut in, or he can put his defender in a tough position where then he can drive back in on his left, get to the center of the field, and be able to create shots as well for himself. But he opens up that playbook very much so if he's able to drive to the end line and cut inside as well. And then for Davies, a perfect example why I want him on the left is look at the fantastic goal he had against Real Madrid in the Champions League semifinal. An unbelievable run from a defensive position, all kinds of pace going forward, cuts inside on his right and puts an unbelievable goal past Lunin. Fantastic effort with his right foot, which is obviously his weaker foot, but still I feel more confident with his right foot than Buchanan, so that's why I have him on the left. Then obviously with David in the middle, great facilitator, great opportunity to play underneath Kyle Larin, who's going to sit up top for this squad. Well, guys, I certainly hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so. We've got plenty more coming your way with a lot of these major tournaments and different things going on, so make sure you stay tuned. Please let us know down in the comments as well your own prediction for a starting lineup for Jesse Marsch's Canadian side, or any other opinions you might have on this video and where Canada is going forward. But again, guys, hope you all have a great day, and we'll see you soon.